Hello, and welcome to another retro hunt, basically. So what we have here is a couple of games, which I will go through in 2 seconds. I just want to say thank you to the people that checked out my Xbox 360 tour video. I may be going back again and doing another little video on maybe a few of the games on there, because there was some stuff on it that seemed interesting, and I believe the store closes, I think it's next month, so I'm going to check that out again, I think, before the store closes. But again, thank you for checking out the video, even if it was just a minute or two or whatever. It was nice to see. Anyway, let's get to the retro hunt. This one's a little bit more special than the last couple I've done. Obviously, depending on the games and stuff. But I have been sort of going for more Nintendo stuff of late, because one, it's incredibly collectible. It does hold its price generally. So yeah. So anyway, let's get to it. So first up, we have Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. I owned this before, and I sold it pretty much before I was a kind of a collector, I guess you could say. It's in good nick. It was £18 from CX. I went in there one morning after a dental appointment, I think it was, and something just spoke to me. I was like, maybe, Legend of Zelda. I mean, I've already got Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks. I was like, well, it's in good nick. I've not played it fully through, so, and again, I mean, I've got quite a few 3DS games as it is, so, but yeah, so, looking forward to playing through this at some point. But it's kind of a Link to the Past, like a spiritual successor to that. So, 18 quid. It's actually not that badly priced for a 3DS game, because especially some of them are getting up there now, particularly the Pokemon ones. They're like 50, 60 quid, some of them, up to about 90 if you want like Soul Silver, or 90 and 120, 150 pounds. So the prices are getting a bit insane, honestly. But yeah, looking forward to trying that out. And obviously I've modded my 3DS, so I've got Ocarina of Time running on there without the little cartridge. Just got to figure out where the save file directory is on, as such, how to save games. Because I've already got save game on there, but when it ripped it, it didn't rip the save file, so I need to figure out how to do that. But yeah, so looking forward to trying that out. This one's pretty special. This is about 90 quid, I think, on CX. This is Metroid Fusion. This came in at, was it £36? But I love the box, obviously. But I mean, it's pretty mint. It's the American version. But obviously, Game Boy Advance games are, as far as I'm aware, region free anyway. Because obviously I've got my Game Boy player to try this out. I haven't ever really played a proper Metroid game. I think I played the Super SNES one once, I think, on the Switch Online, and I might have encountered it in the 90s at some point, but I never owned a Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo, sorry. Yeah, Super Nintendo for Super Metroid. So yeah, it looked quite good. It's in good nick. It is the real deal. If my camera will focus. My phone camera's been having a lot of problems of late. Really, a lot of problems. Like, focus has not been its strong suit. But it is there. I can see it. But it's got the Nintendo logo, so it's the real deal. So I'm quite happy with that. I think this is actually 3D. It's a 3DS case as well, ironically. Yeah, oh, DS, sorry. So yeah, very glad to have that. Tell me what order I should be playing these in, other than Super Metro, because I don't own that one, and obviously that's other than the Switch Online service, which at the moment my Switch is currently at my nephew's, so I haven't got access to it at the moment. But I think it's just the Super Nintendo version, is it not? Unless it came on one of those the mini Super Nintendo. I will have to have a look. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying that. I've been told it's quite hard. I've had the Metroid Prime games on GameCube for a couple of years now. I've yet to even... I think I played the first one, and I did a little video on the second, but I haven't played through them properly. But yeah. Next up, Resident Evil. I wanted to complete my physical collection, although I originally played these on PS1 as a teenager, or young teenager. So Nemesis, this was CX. This was, yep, CX. I actually had a decent experience with CX for once. The only kicker is no manual, so I've got to get a manual for it, so at least it's complete. But And then what's annoying is they don't list it. It didn't have a manual. There was no listing on it saying no manual, so that was annoying. But discs in reasonable condition. It works. I've tested it, so I'm looking forward to trying that out again. Nemesis was one of the more difficult games, I would say, in terms of if you play it on hard mode, where you've only got the pistol to contend with Nemesis. But as much as I think the remake has its place, definitely, this is the better of the two games, easily. As I said before, I like the remake, but the remake, just they cut far too much content out. And I don't know, I prefer the version where Jill goes to the police station. It just ties in with RE2 just a little bit more. But obviously the remake is going to be a much more accessible way to play Nemesis, because it's just damn sight easier game. And this isn't particularly that hard. In areas it can be, depending on what decisions you make, but it's the one I played first on PS1. So, and of course, Code Veronica. This came in at, was this? Oh god, I'm trying to remember. I think this was about 36 quid. I've done quite well in terms of deals of late with games. I've also owned this on PS3 digitally. The only annoyance is there was a bit of damage there, but I can probably change out the case at some point. Uses a lot of slots on the old memory, though. That was the only thing that was annoying about it. Very happy with the seller. Obviously, it's well conditioned. It's got a manual. As you can see, the discs were well protected when it turned up. There's a few scratches on the discs, but they all work. I've been playing through this. I was playing it on digitally, though, on PS5. Because I own it on... No, did I buy it again? I think I bought it. Yeah, I bought it on PS5 again, because I also bought RE4 on Series X, and I've also got that on PS3, and I've also got that on GameCube. So yeah, so my Resident Evil collection on GameCube is essentially complete. The only no, I take that back. Zero is the only one I don't have. But Zero is not a game I'm that fond of, honestly. I don't like the swapping mechanics where you drop. I mean, like the idea you can drop items, that's handy to have, but I don't like the switching system. It's it's irritating. It's not a bad game, actually, in actuality. That's what I'm hoping, because I imagine most people know this, but the news that's come out, is it Play Asia? Is it Play? It was something like that. I can't remember the actual name of the site, if I'm quoting the correct one. But there's been leaks for this. I don't know if Resident Evil 3. This one, Code Veronica 0, and it might even be Resident Evil 1, the GameCube remake. I'm not sure, even though they've been re-released and ported so many times at this point. There's leaked PS5 versions, but they look, sadly to me, like they're going to be, at the moment anyway, they've got the original artwork. So whether these are ports or they're going to do full remakes, I really think this could use a remake. As much as I love this, I've been playing this, I was streaming this last night, and I haven't come across Wesker yet, but it's been good so far. It's a challenging game though, Code Veronica. It's not an easy game. The hardness, it ramps up, and it's not very forgiving. Like, I got killed by, is it Alfred with his sniper rifle? Only due basically because as I ran, you have to run down the corridor quickly, and then you come to like an alcove, and he's up in the alcove and he shoots at you, and I got caught in the fire, and it basically put me into like an animation where I'm getting hit by fire, and she jumps back, and I couldn't do anything. So there are some issues with Code Veronica. Steve is, it's easy to hate Steve because he's a really, what's the word I'm looking for? He's irritating, but to say the least. He's not the worst character in the world, but he is very irritating. Very, obviously, I believe he's Canadian. I think it's a Canadian accent. But there are some differences between this version, and I also have this version. Now, this is cheap as chips. This is like £6. I think I got this in a lot. I prefer the black label, honestly, but you know, I'm bitching about something really minor. So, but the funny thing I didn't know is that, like, for instance, the intro is exactly the same, but when you hit the intro screen on this version, it's a different voice. Whereas on the GameCube version, it's the dude from Resident Evil 4. So there's little differences I didn't realize. Like, so I think it sounds like the merchant from Resident Evil 4 that says the intro for says Resident Evil on this as you hit the start button, whereas it's different on that one. So and I think it might be the same for the GameCube version in comparison to the PS1 version, but I'm not really sure. So I'm ranting, aren't I? I'm ranting. So, but yeah, so it's kind of weird. Cool though, very cool. But I am and ahhing whether or not to get RE2 and RE3 on PS1 as well, because I'm an idiot. I don't know why I want the multiple games at the same time, of the same version, just slight differences. But the one I am hunting for actively is Director's Cut, Resident Evil 1. I've got a copy of it on PS1, but I really want that Director's Cut. Although I've been told that is the one with the really bad music in the is it the basement? So, but I really hope Code Veronica is getting a remake, and they're going to put 9 back, because 7 is a really good game. It's a different it goes back to the old school horror in a lot of ways, but it's different. It's got like a Chainsaw Massacre sort of feel to it. Village is okay. It's not a bad game, but I wouldn't call it a particularly good Resident Evil game. The beginning bit with the vampire lady, I can't remember her name. That's really, really good. That bit of the game is really, really fun, and it's creepy as hell. But the game kind of falls off because it goes the action route later on, and it's just not as memorable after that bit. And Ethan as a character is not really that particularly compelling or interesting. And I haven't played the DLC for Village, so I can't really speak for it. Although the mannequin bit is quite creepy in that game, though. And I've only played the base game. Obviously, the DLC's got even more of that shit in it. So, but yeah, so definitely cool. As I said, on the hunt for Director's Cut. That one I'm curious about Metroid Fusion, because there's also Zero Hour, which I believe is a remake of... Is it Metroid 1? So I'm going to see whether I can hunt that down at some point. I'm really enjoying this retro collecting. Like, I'm starting to really get into it, and the games are expensive, but not all of them. There are some. There's a few out there, like 360 and PS3, as I've said, is the way you want to be collecting for, I would say, actively now, because those prices are going up. Like, the one I'm eyeing up is Metal Gear Solid Rising. It's a game I didn't even really get on with when it came out at the time. But again, I've got all the other Metal Gear games, so I'm just I'm an iron. And the other thing I'm also trying to get hold of is I have that splitter there, which is a 2x2 in 1 out, and I'm looking to get a 4K 121, because obviously the PS5 and the Series X are all, well, depending on the game, obviously frame rates and stuff are all over the shop, but I want to get a splitter so I can have that and the Switch and a couple other things hooked up, because I'm always switching out retro systems when I want to do a video. And obviously I've got a 4K 60 capture card, but obviously my splitter doesn't do 4K. It only looks like it does 1080p. So I'm around about getting one of them. So it's such a fun hobby. It's just a shame it's so goddamn expensive. But yeah, so, and the only other Resident Evil games that I don't know, I've never played them, is Outbreak File 1 and File 2. I would like to see them do like a Resident Evil Raccoon City, where you get to see like a modern remake or a modern iteration, where you get to see before and after, like both Jill runs through it before, is it like 24 hours before Leon and Claire arrive at the city, and see all the different survivors. It'd be interesting, but as I said, Capcom got a lot of leaks are coming out, so I'm hoping that some of this is true. And of course, the last thing to say is we can't forget Dino Crisis. Come on. Where is it? Let's see it. They're doing really well as a company in terms of I think their growth and structure and stuff. So I'm really excited to say. I really hope there's going to be a Dino Crisis at some point, because with the technology we've got today, they could make it genuinely frightening. And I still love the original Dino Crisis, and the second one, again, that's another one on the Game Hunt, is much more action focused, but it's just a lot of fun, hell of a lot of fun. But they're not on PSN for some weird reason, and neither is I might have said this in a previous video, and Dino Crisis 1 isn't on PSN in the UK, in Europe as far as I'm aware, but it is on the US PSN, PS3. So, but anyway, I'm ranting too much now, so I hope you've enjoyed this, and there will be some more content to come. I may be streaming some more Code Veronica X. I don't know what it is. I'm tempted to just collect the same, different versions of the same game. Like, I was even eyeing up is it the Sega Saturn version of Resident Evil? Because it's such an interesting version. But I don't own a Sega Saturn. So anyone, let me know. Is a Sega Saturn worth collecting for? The prices are obscene on that system, though. So whether I can or not, I'm not really sure. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and thanks for the time.